Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me. Well, today we are going to create a Valentine, and we are going to be using the Pretty Pink Posh Love Balloon stamp set. There is a die option, and I'll be using that to cut out my images today. But we are going to jump in. I love this little skunk, and so we're going to stamp him. This set is really cute. It's part of the Pretty Pink Posh new release. And if you haven't had a chance to check that out, I encourage you to head over because it's a real fabulous release. Let's do a little stamping. I have my little skunk here. I'm going to ink him up with Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and we're going to stamp on Nina cardstock. After we have our little skunk stamped, we'll grab our balloon in the stamp set. And we'll stamp that as well. Okay, so just 2 images, and then we're going to zoom in and do a little bit of coloring. I'm going to do basic coloring, guys. Next, we're going to take our coordinating die set. Let's die cut out our little balloon. We will line these up, and I'll tape them down with some low tack tape. Okay, I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. And while I'm at it too, I'm also going to take some white cardstock. Now, I wanted to do something different for my background, so I'm bringing in a fall die set. This is called the Fall Foliage. And I want to take this sleeve right here, and I'm going to die cut this out a few times while we're die cutting. Okay, everything is die cut, and it cut out beautifully. We're going to zoom out, have a little bit more room here. Okay, for my background, we're going to do a little bit more die cutting, but this time I wanted to create a frame, because you know I like my frames. And I'm going to be using the Scallop Frames die set. I'm going to take the smallest one, and I have a panel here that measures 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I'm going to die cut this out right in the center. And we're going to use the positive and the negative of the frame, except for the middle. And I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. Okay, so we have a frame and a frame. I didn't need that inside piece here. And then I have a piece of teal colored cardstock, and you want a piece that makes sure that you can fit behind here. And that's where we're going to put our leaves. So I just wanted to create a different background, and I love the way these leaves look. And I'm just going to fill in the background with these leaves. And we'll trim off the excess. Looks like we're going to need one more for right here. Okay, once we have our background filled, don't you just love the way that looks? And it does add a little bit of dimension behind your panel. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add adhesive. I take that back. Next, what we're going to do is take some red cardstock, and I'm going to stamp a sentiment down here on the bottom. And I'm going to use my anti-static powder tool, and we're going to stamp the sentiment that says lots of love. I'm going to stamp it with my Versamark ink. then we're going to go over it with white embossing powder. And then we'll use our heat gun and melt that embossing powder. Once our sentiment is stamped here, I'm gonna use my paper trimmer, and I want it at an angle. I know that. Let's see. You might. I think that's gonna look good. I like to kind of position it where I want it to go, and then tack it down. That way I know it's perfectly positioned. I went ahead and put foam adhesive behind this frame. This frame is going to go directly over our card base. I think that looks really pretty on its own, guys. Then we're going to take our scalloped inside frame, and we're going to remove the release paper, at least off the bottom. Actually, we can do all the sides here. And I just trimmed down some real thin strips of 3M foam tape. Okay, and then we're going to add our sentiment at the bottom. Make sure it is nice and straight on the bottom. I'm going to add a little more adhesive here. And then, oh, you know what? I'm also going to take a strip of black and white stripe paper, because since our skunk's black and white, I think we need a little bit of, well, we'll add it over here. I think we need a little bit of stripes here. And I'm going to add it over the reversed side of my diagonal stripe, my diagonal red cardstock. Just so about 1/8 of an inch is showing. And then we're going to go ahead and add this. Now we have our skunk and our balloon. Let's go ahead and add some foam tape behind here. Some black and white baker's twine. And we're going to add a bow to our balloon. Okay, and then I am going to bring in my glossy accents and go over my little squirrel's nose. And I have to unplug it. And then that finishes my card for today, guys. I think it is a cute little card, something a little different for a background. But I thank you so much for joining me. Have a fabulous day, and we'll see you again next time.